guys, today we're here to talk about my favorite double duty or multitasking blushes. These are blushes that I feel like act as both a great blush and a highlight, and that's not always the case. Sometimes it can be too shimmery to be, near the pore area of your face, or it's too deep to really add any kind of a glow. So these are my favorite double duty blushes. I mentioned this in a recent My Favorite Blushes of All Time video, which I will link to down below, and yes, a lot of these are peachy. I know, but I think I have a good variety of shades and of finishes and of, price range as well. If you're curious about this look, I did film it just before this, so I will link to it down below. I'm obsessed with the eye look. It's actually just one eyeshadow that I'm wearing, so I'll link to that down below, but let's go ahead and get started. Speaking of peach, the first blush that I think I ever was like, oh, I totally feel like I can use this on its own is from Too Faced. It is the Papa Don't Peach Blush, and this is a really interesting one. I feel like it has a bit of an iridescence to it in the sense that it almost goes like a little bit pinky purpley, but like not in a bad in your face way. It just is a really beautiful color on its own. I did use this in my trying out the Sweet Peach line when it first launched a little while back, so I linked to that down below, but this definitely isn't super glowy, and it doesn't have any shimmer or any chunks in there. Like for example, NARS Orgasm, I was kind of swatching that being like, it is a good double duty blush, and I know it probably is for a lot of people, but for my preference, it's just, I don't know, it's not my favorite. Like I have other blushes that I like more than Orgasm, and I feel like that has like a little tiny chunks of glitter in there, which is not my preference. So this is very smooth. I feel like this would be friendly if you have texture on your skin. This could be a great option. A lot of these could, but again, there's a fine line, because if you have texture on your skin and you're putting a bunch of, shimmery blush on, it can go wrong. So I feel like this is a little bit smoother, and not that you can't. I mean, I'm working on my textured skin, but when I had really bad acne, I had so many people telling me that I shouldn't be wearing highlighter because I'm highlighting my pimples, and I'm like, please go away. Leave me alone. Let me highlight my pimples. Anyways, moving on to two new blushes from Physicians Formula. I used these in my new Physicians Formula 2019 video. Their other two blushes that I have are nice, and they're a beautiful satin finish, and they might add like a smidge of glow, but I find these are definitely more glowy. So we have a Copper Cabana here, which I think would be gorgeous on a deeper skin tone. Physicians Formula historically has been quite a pale brand, but they've done a great job extending their shade ranges, and this blush is super nice. It has a really nice kind of bronzy shade to it, and again, these are more of like a satin shimmer, but no glitter in here. Again, very smooth finish. The butter blushes are incredible. They have the most, of all the drugstore products, I think the butter line feels incredibly high-end. It's easy to work with, it's buildable. So this bronze is a gorgeous shade, and then if you have a lighter skin tone, if you're looking for something a little lighter, I also wanted to include the Beachy Peach shade. And I've used both of these in videos, which I will link to anything down below so you can see kind of a demonstration of it in action. But this one is a little bit lighter. I've used this as like a blush topper, and I've also used it alone as a blush, and it gives less color on the cheeks on my skin tone than something like the copper one, but it still gives a very beautiful glow if you're just looking for something a little more natural with like a slight flush if you have my skin tone, and if you're lighter, this will of course definitely act more like a blush and a highlight. One of my current favorite blushes for this purpose is a newer one to me from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in the shade The Climax, and these are their Swish and Pop blushers. I love that like British term for blush. Basically what you're supposed to do is swish around the outside and then pop it on the inside, but I mean, you can do whatever you want when it comes to application, but I really love this. I've been wearing this a ton lately. I've gotten not lazy with my makeup, but I've definitely been doing a lot more natural makeup and just playing around with, stepping outside of my normal routine, and especially these kind of double duty blushes. I'm very much matte blush highlight. That's kind of what I go for, so I've been enjoying stepping outside of my comfort zone, I guess we could call it, but this is really beautiful. Again, if you have texture, this isn't going to be too metallic on your skin. I think this is probably one of the most texture friendly, if not the most texture friendly probably, that I'm going to be mentioning today. I've been so impressed with everything I've tried from Charlotte Tilbury in the past year and a half or so. Definitely a high-end brand, but you feel that luxury not only in the packaging but also in the quality, and the fact that it's like subtle but still impactful and just looks incredible on the skin. So really impressed with this, and of all the different shades, I feel like this is the best if you have a skin tone closer to mine. The rest of them look quite light. I haven't actually tried them, but I love this color. It's kind of more on the neutral side. The blush that I'm wearing right now is from MAC, and I do have a highlighter on over it, but Ooh, baby, this is so gorgeous. It is the MAC Telling Glow Blush in Extra Dimension Blush. This, and I've said this will be my third time now calling out to the deeper skin girls or guys to give this a try, because I just think it would be so pretty on you, and I think you need it in your life. It's just so orange, so glowy. I did wear this in an Instagram tutorial, so I'll link to that down below, with no highlighter, I'm pretty sure, and it just gives the most gorgeous glow. If you do have texture on your skin, these blushes may not be the best, and something to keep in mind too is, like, just because this one works doesn't mean all the shades in the line will work, because sometimes in different blush lines some can have more glitter, more shimmer, and it's also going to depend on your skin tone too. So if you're very fair, this may not work for you. If you're very deep, it could be amazing. The same as, like, if you have very light skin, something that's going to be very light and pastel pink will look better on you versus deeper skin. So it's gonna maybe take a little bit of time for you to figure out the shades that work for you, but I really love this. It's super glowy, very impactful. It's like a glowy golden beach in a powder form. These are not cheap either. This was like 35 bucks, I think, which, like, in comparison to Sephora prices is not much in comparison to like some of the other high-end brands, but for MAC I just wasn't expecting it, but it was absolutely well worth it. I have been obsessed with it, and I think it would make a gorgeous eyeshadow as well. I have a drugstore option here from L'Oreal. This is one of their Enchanted scented blushes. This one is in the shade Fantastical. They have a bunch of different shades, and some of them are a little bit lighter as well. One's a little bit more pinky. This is the more peachy one, but this is a great drugstore option if you're looking for something that is going to add some glow. No like chunks of glitter in here. Let me just confirm. And this probably, like, it's not super glowy, but it definitely adds more glow than something that's completely matte. So if you're not looking for anything that really has any shimmer in it, it's just kind of like a strong satin finish, I think that this could be a great option for you. And in general, this is just a great drugstore blush. I was very close to including it in my favorite blush video, but I just don't reach for it as much as I do the other ones. But drugstore blushes, to me, the shades and finishes are just a little bit off. The packaging still has a way to go. I don't love this, it's unnecessary, but the actual shade inside is a great one, and I think that this was such a good line. It got a lot of talk when it first launched, and I did do a full video on it, so I'll link to that down below, but I think that this is such a good blush. And recently, actually, I was sent the L'Oreal True Match blushes, which I'd never tried, and I still have not tried that. It's in a pile to try, so excited to try those. But yeah, drugstore blushes for me, they still have some work, but this is a really good one. A brand from Canada is Stellar, and I reviewed this whenever it first launched. There's a foundation. I used this blush, and this is a really gorgeous one. Really glowy. It kind of reminds me of the MAC blush in terms of finish. This is a little more neutral in color. And again, if you have a lot of texture, this may not be your favorite, but if you're looking for something glowy, it absolutely is a perfect mix between a blush and a highlighter. It does come in some other shades. I haven't seen them, so I don't know if they would work, but I did do a full review on this blush, and it is a Canadian brand if you're looking to support Canada. Sold at Sephora. There was quite a bit of talk about it when it first launched, and maybe I'm just not watching people that are talking about it, but I did really like a lot of their products. But this one for me is, of everything that I tried in that video, what I continue to reach for. So I definitely wanted to give them a shout out, because I feel like I never hear anybody talking about it. So as always, I will have it linked down below. Mentioning a limited edition blush, and sometimes I'm hesitant to do that in these kinds of videos, especially because, like, this probably won't come back, but Wet n Wild tends to release similar products year to year depending on the collection, so I wanted to mention this one. You may see it on sale, you may already have it in your collection and never thought to reach for it. Again, this would be a great one for deeper skin. There was a lighter pink one as well that was very similar actually to a not MAC, a NARS blush that came out over the holidays, and that would be beautiful if you have a lighter skin tone. It was too light for me, I think, but again, if you have a deeper skin tone, this has so much glow. This isn't the kind of thing, like, I haven't really used this as a double duty blush, but I've used it more as a blush and just have to be a little more careful because it is so pigmented, but it's also so glowy. Kind of has that gelée texture that a lot of these blushes have. For me, that's kind of my preference over something that's like a satin finish with shimmer in it. I'd rather have this kind of gelée texture, if you know what I'm talking about. Because I think it just looks better on my skin. And and kind of shimmers and glitters just have a tendency to highlight any kind of imperfections on the skin, and this is just a little bit more forgiving when it comes to sheen on the face. So this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color. There is also a more orangey one and a more pink one. They were all gorgeous. This is from the Flights of Fancy collection, and I do have a full video on this, so I will link to it down below as well if you want to see it in action. Clarins is a brand that I feel like doesn't get a lot of love. I definitely covered a lot of their skincare before. I think their skincare is incredible. They're one of the first brands that I really kind of stuck into when I moved to Toronto in terms of skincare and trying to figure out what my skin needed, and I really felt like their products made a difference, and they don't get enough chatter, and these blushes are great. Specifically, I want to mention the shade Golden Pink, but there's a few different ones. Like there's a sunset shade that I have as well that has like a little bit of glitter in it, so I didn't want to mention it. This one again is more of that gelée texture. Kind of reminds me of a NARS Orgasm in the sense that it has the pink gold shift, but not like NARS in the sense that it's kind of more glittery shimmery. This is more kind of cohesive, I guess, in terms of the, because you know what I mean by cohesive. Some blushes can be like pink and then you see the gold glitter or you see the gold shimmer, very distinct differences between the two, but this is like really blended well together, if that makes any sense at all. But this gives a really beautiful glow, no shimmer, no glitter, and it's not peach, so congratulations to me to mentioning not something peach. It does have that like pinky peach with the gold in there, but if you're looking for something that's not like a full-on orange like the next one that I'm going to mention, this is great. And like I said, Clarins does not get enough love, so wanted to mention this one for sure. Tiger Lily from Becca Cosmetics actually is probably quite similar to the MAC blush. Let me swatch them together. Different textures for sure, but similar colors. Curious. On the top here, oh god, I forget which one's which. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so the more orange one right here on the top and on the bottom here is Tiger Lily from Becca, and then here in the middle is the MAC, and the MAC has more peachiness to it, more golden glow for sure, and then the Tiger Lily from Becca is definitely more orange. I picked this up 2 years ago maybe in a Sephora VIB sale and didn't touch it. Like I was eyeing this forever and I was like, oh, it's like a $40 blush or whatever it is. Bought it, then I didn't touch it. So recently, actually in the past like 6 months, I've started using it and really, really loving it because I love that it has that strong orangeness to it. If you have a skin tone like mine or a little deeper or even not, I recommend definitely trying out red and orange blushes because there's just something about it, especially red. I know can look really intimidating, and I'm totally going off on a tangent here, but there's only so much I can say about double duty blushes. Like the reason that I like all of these is they all have very similar attributes, so there's only so much I can say brand to brand, if that makes sense. So the last one I want to mention is the Benefit California blush. This is a sunny golden pink blush, so I think it looks a little more orangey peachy than it actually pulls on my skin tone. I feel like it has a lot of pink in it and definitely more of a satin finish, so not super glowy, as glowy as something like the MAC or the Becca. There's also Gold Rush. If you have a lighter skin tone, that may be better for you. That one's a little more pastel pink, and I think that one has like little bits of gold glitter in there, which again I do not like, but this one is more of that gelée texture that's not going to be as like highlighting all of your imperfections on the skin. So I really like this one. A lot of Benefits blushes are quite light, but they are also kind of nice and glowy too if you do have a more fair skin tone. I'm also so excited about their new deeper bronzers launching. I haven't tried those yet, but really, really love this blush. This is probably the first blush from Benefit that I tried because I kind of assumed the rest of them would be too light for me, and for the most part they are, I think. I don't know. I don't even know if I've tried any other ones besides this one, but this one I do really love. So those are my favorites. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what your favorite double duty blushes are. Is that something that you like to do? Is it something you may be interested in doing now? And in addition to that, I will link below a favorite eyeshadows that act as great highlighters video from the drugstore, because that's like another kind of multitasking product. So maybe I'll start like a multitasking playlist or something like that. Either way, that will be linked down below along with any videos where I'm using these products, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!